Hi, welcome. I'm Mary and I hook books. I crochet things inspired by the audiobooks that I listen to. And if you're new, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. If you've been here for a minute, I'm really sorry. I kind of just vanished. I was in such a slump for a little while. For one, my phone just died. And I had to go to the T-Mobile store, get a warranty exchange. They had to send out for it. And then when they got it, they were like, hey, you can trade it in. So a week and a half later, I did end up with a new, nicer phone. So I don't see what the picture quality and all that kind of stuff is like. But yeah, so technical difficulties. And on like a more personal level, I was a flight attendant for over 9 years, and the DC crash really hit me hard, and how it was handled and politicized just horrified me, and I just got so depressed. And right now, in this country, I don't care who you voted for, if you are not concerned, you're not paying attention. I also am a teacher. I teach adults, and all of my students right now are Black and Latino, and they are really scared. And I feel so much for them. And it is amazing and horrifying that we are in a world where compassion is radical, where empathy is revolutionary and dangerous. And I needed a minute to get myself back together. I am just trying my hardest. I am engaging as much as I am possibly able to, but I have to know my limits, know just where I can affect things. And even though it really breaks my heart and terrifies me, I can't do absolutely everything all by myself. So I am learning that lesson and trying to just bring as much good and happiness to the world as I can. I am a teacher, and one of my former students came back and we were talking. She said, yeah, no, I don't consider you white. I'm like, oh, thank you. Right now, thank you. And I had another come back, and she was telling me how happy she is with the line of work that I helped get her into, that I prepared her for. She is so happy in her new life. And I have to remember, I make a difference in both my jobs, because of course I have a second job, because teaching, while emotionally fulfilling, does not pay the best. And my other job, like the staff, the front-facing staff are always like, yeah, like your clients are just different when they come out. And I really do make a positive, tangible difference in people's lives, and that's what I really have to cling on to. I am going to do everything in my power to help other people who are hurting even worse than I am, which is a lot of people. I am, I would say, a pretty privileged white woman. So even though I am a woman, so for that, but I am in a more advantageous situation than a lot of people. I am going to do my absolute best to be there. but especially my channel and my reading for at least a little while is really going to have to focus on keeping me in a headspace that I can be my most productive self. So I am going to probably be reading a lot of fluffy, frilly comedy, maybe a little horror, because like that seems very distant in general. But yeah, that is what has been up. If you're still with me, thank you. I appreciate you being here, and let's be positive together. Let's make the world better by caring about each other together. So, on that note, I didn't do a wrap up for January. I did several vlogs, so most of what I read is in there. There's a couple things in the end of January, beginning of February that I haven't really talked about. So, what got me out of my slump was Secondhand Souls. And this is the sequel to A Dirty Job being death. And our new Big D death may or may not be a 7-year-old girl. Hence the pink. And this was written, I think, a decade after the first one, and you can tell the writing has matured quite a bit. The humor still may or may not hit with everyone. It hits with me. It really was what I needed. I needed something I could just laugh and giggle at. That said, it is about death, so check any trigger warnings. There is some self-harm for the greater good. And there were a couple places where it dragged a little bit, but overall I feel like Christopher Moore has always been really fun, but I feel like he's gotten better as a writer over time, and it showed between A Dirty Job and Secondhand Souls. I just needed this. I needed hellhounds and squirrel people and the Emperor of San Francisco and his 2 doggy minions. I just needed this. And another really fun book that I read was The Road to Roswell, and I thought this would actually be a little bit goofier. It was, like, it was fun and goofy, but it also had more heart than I expected. And I think that's a theme. I think maybe I just have really low expectations for, like, funny books in general, because I end up saying that a lot, that it had a lot more heart and emotional impact than I thought it would be. And it kind of annoys me that this is considered romance, because the romance really was just like a blip at the end. And these amazing fun characters were really what this book was about. Our main character goes to her friend's wedding. She is the maid of honor, and it's in Roswell. So, you know, it's an alien-themed wedding. And she has to go to her car to get something, and there's an alien in her car. And the alien needs her to help him do stuff. Like, he can't communicate, he doesn't know English yet. So, like, he's basically just poking her with a stick and, like, grabbing her with his tendrils. And I love non-humanoid aliens. This guy was, like, a what is it? A tumbleweed is what he resembled. So I really enjoy the creativity. A lot of the time, aliens are just a human with something taped onto their skull. But that was really fun. We meet such quirky, fun characters along the way. So this was a really fun ride. Have Space Cat Will Travel. This is a collection of short stories that were all over the place. The first couple that have the eponymous Space Cat really had fun Firefly vibes. Like, the captain very much gave off Captain Reynolds vibes. Like, really enjoyed that. And then I think it was the third story. There's like an alien PDF file that like gets what's coming to him, and it was a lot. So this was all over the place. There were some that were so short and so poignant. And there were some that I just couldn't get into and I skipped. So it was kind of all over the place, but I guess that means it is a good variety. So I would say probably don't spend your money on it, but I got it from Hoopla at the library. So, and in the times we live in, please support the library. Please. So, have Space Cat Will Travel. I'm noticing kind of a theme of little alien things and doodaddies in my reading, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do to get out of whatever we're in right now. Speaking of space cats, Chilling Effect, I really think was a victim of my reading slump. I feel like I really would have enjoyed this at a different time. I had started it before my phone died, and then I tried listening to it on my tablet, and so it was just a very chunky experience. I can't, like, it, like a lot of space operas, which are not always my favorite. It is a lot of different episodes that are all tied together to make one story, so it can feel a little disjointed. But maybe that was just my reading experience. But there is a lot of non-humanoid aliens, which again, I really like. Our main character is Latino. She is like space Catholic. Like, she talks about the Pope and the Virgin and such. So that was fun, interesting representation. There was a lot of Spanish peppered in periodically, so love to see that representation. Love the non-humanoid aliens. Love that most of the higher ranking people were female, so that was really nice. The very beginning, and this is one of the reasons I'm like, I really should have loved this book, but I had just a disjointed reading experience. Our very first chapter, we are chasing within our spaceship psychic cats. So the cats keep getting out of their enclosure because they're psychic. So they can do stuff and they're smart, and so we have to keep chasing them all over the spaceship. So adorable. I just gave it a 3. I was kind of neutral about the whole thing, but I think if I had read it at a different time, my rating would probably be higher. But of course, space cats. I've also been reading a series by Darcy Coates, the Black Winter series. The first book was so mysterious and so captivating. Like, you really had no idea what was going on, and neither did the characters until the very end. The second book expanded on the lore and the world a little bit. We really built the relationship between our main two characters. The third book is the one I just read, Whispers in the Mist, and this one we get a lot more lore, or at least a little bit more lore of what other people have been up to. We find out that there are other people, but like I really did not like one of the characters and the drama that she brought. I was not a fan. We later find out why she's like that, but it was not a super enjoyable reading experience. And yeah, that's all I can really remember about it. They're trying to, oh yeah, they get to a place and find other people and we're gonna see if we can save the world, but we probably can't, so let's go home. And that is how the third book ends. I will try to probably pick up the fourth one in the near future. I am going to try to actually finish some series this year. Crazy concept. So the cover had a heart locket. So I made a little heart box. No, I did not sew in my ends. Shh. Before I hit that slump and just bleh, I did have a couple reading blogs planned that fell through, and one of them I'm just really not in the headspace for. So I was trying to stash bust, so I was reading a bunch of purple books while I get rid of a giant skein of purple yarn. So I free-handed this double Tunisian crochet cardigan while reading purple books, but I didn't have my phone to record, so you missed out on all that fun Tunisian crochet b-roll. I had another blog that I was going to do for Valentine's Day because my Valentines are my kitties. They are the love of my life. So I was going to do a blog that was reading like my cats or reading books that remind me of my cats. And Munster always likes to be in his high towers. So I'll periodically call him the money in the high castle. And we're just in a place where Nazis in America is a little too close to home. So I'm gonna put that off until I'm in a better place. If you're still here, thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry I disappeared for a little while there. I am in a tenuous but better headspace, and we are going to get through this together. We just help each other, support each other, be there as much as we can, use compassion as a radical act, as an act of resistance and revolution, and keep your shoulders back, your head up, and breathe.